That's us live now.
Thank you. Okay, convener.
Yes, okay. We'll move on to where we left off, which would be moving to item 8 on the agenda. Enforcement appeal decision at land opposite Gedhall, Main Street, Barry. Kate, are you speaking on this one?
Yep, convener, thank you very much. The report is concerned with a site south of Main Street, as you said, opposite Gedhall in Barry. The site, we received a number of complaints over a number of years and a number of observations that it was being used for the storage of scrap metal, as an area for temporary parking and as a construction compound for a nearby house. We contacted the owners and they undertook some work to improve the site, but we continued to receive complaints about the state of the site. So as we concluded that the issue couldn't be resolved informally, we served an enforcement notice back in July of this year. That enforcement notice required the removal of vehicles and materials from the land. It required the cessation of the unauthorised use, and it required the maintenance of the land in a tidy condition. The owner submitted an appeal against that enforcement notice, and the reporter's conclusions on that appeal are set out in paragraph 3 of the report. Essentially, the appeal was dismissed, and the enforcement notice therefore took effect from the date of that decision, so the 26th of October, and there is a 6-month time period for compliance on that. So members are simply asked to note the contents of that report.
Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Right, thank you. Thank you, Kate. So we'll move on to item 9 on the agenda. Is everybody hearing me? I see Andy Barnes come up there on the screen.
Yes, convener. Yep, we can hear you.
Yes, okay. Agenda item 9 is a proposal of application notice for land at Restoration Meaty Farm, Bungalow. This has been before us, but is Mr. Hunter there to speak on this?
Mr. Hunter is indeed here, if you want me to speak on it, convener.
Well, your name's at the bottom of it anyway. Yes.
Okay. As you've indicated, this is a proposal of application notice. It's a site that's familiar to committee. It was considered, a similar proposal of application notice was considered at the meeting on the 15th of September. This is effectively the same proposal. It's 2 32,000 capacity free range hen sheds and the associated works. The difference is the applicant has amended the application site to make it substantially larger. The application site that you considered at the meeting on the 15th of September was 3 hectares in area. The application site now is 45 hectares. So it includes the land round about the chicken sheds that would be used for the ranging of the chickens themselves. If we move to the next slide, please. Here we see the general location, the A90 trunk road just on the left-hand side of the screen. And this is the site that was considered by committee in September. If we look at the next slide, please. And you can perhaps make out just very faintly the slightly larger red line that extends from the burn just to the north of Mosslands of Meaty, extends up to Meaty Church, the remains off on Fotheringham Hill. So a substantially larger site, but as I say, essentially the same proposal. If we look at the next slide, you can see the general location of the proposed chicken shed still in the same location or similar location that we looked at when we considered the previous report. At the meeting on the 15th of September, committee agreed that the key issues were those set out at paragraphs 4.4 and 4.5 of the report that's before you. we think that the same issues remain the relevant issues to the consideration of this proposal. Given the number of birds involved, it will require environmental impact assessment. So there will be a detailed look at the environmental implications associated with the proposal as part of any application process. But at this stage, this is just an indication from an applicant that they intend to make an application in the future. All you're being asked to do is confirm that the issues you identified in September this year remain the issues that you think are the main issues that will be relevant in the determination of the application.
Thank you. Any questions to Mr. Hunter? No questions. This is just a pre-application notice. So move on to item 10, which is very similar. Alan, are you going to speak on the one at the application notice at north of Mains of Connside?
If you're desperate to hear from me again, convener,
Yes,
I'm more than happy to speak, yes.
We like your voice. Yes.
Something about me you like, convener.
Are you going to speak on this one as well?
I will, yeah, if the IT host will share the slides.
Yes.
So again, proposal of application notice, again, for two 32,000 capacity free range hen sheds, this time at North Mains of Connside Farm. Again, a proposal that's been before you previously, this time in October this year. At that point, we had an application site of 6.5 hectares. Similar to the case we've just looked at, the applicant has indicated they wish to increase the size of the site, this time to 55 hectares, to include the surrounding fields. If we can look at the next slide, please. So just the general location of the site, maybe next slide. So we have Connside House just to the bottom of the screen here. And you see the red edge site in the middle of the screen. This was the site that was considered in October this year. Next slide, please. Again, I apologise for the quality of the slide, but very faintly you can see the red line. In some cases it mirrors the blue line, which indicates the landowner's ownership, so it's not particularly clear. But in the middle of the slide, you can see the general location that's identified for the chicken shed themselves. Again, capacity of 64,000 chickens. So again, this is going to require detailed environmental impact assessment, which will look at impacts on the environment in the wider area. Again, the issues that committee wish to be considered are set out in the report. We've got the matters identified by officers at 4.4 and 4.5, and the additional matters that committee indicated that wish to be considered have been identified at paragraph 4.6 of this report, and will be advised to the prospective applicant as matters that you wish to see considered. But again, proposal of application notice, so not being asked to make any decisions at this stage. It's really just confirming that the relevant issues for determination of this application will be the matters that were agreed at the meeting on October 2020.
Okay, right, thank you, Alan. Is that noted?
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah.
Noted.
That's the end of our
Please,
meeting.
convener.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Sorry, Councillor Moore wishes to speak.
Thank you. Convener, I've just got two questions. One is in paragraph 3.6, publicity of the public event. Can somebody tell me what that means, please?
So for major planning applications, there's a requirement for the applicant to undertake pre-application consultation with communities as set out in the report. And part of that requirement is to hold a public event. Clearly, in the current circumstances, due to physical distancing requirements, it's not possible to to hold face-to-face public events, the government has issued guidance to indicate that in those circumstances, an online or virtual event can be acceptable.
Yeah, does that mean that they're going to put display boards up in the Freak Hub to explain all the application? Or are they just going to give reference to a website?
So we've asked the applicant to undertake publicity of the event at Freak Hub. How they actually do that is a matter for the applicant.
Right, thank you. And the only other question is that I've seen elsewhere that we've got avian flu, and all bird owners are being told that they've got to be put in housing. Now, I don't know what these hen huts, for want of a better word, are made of, or how they're designed internally, but if they're only on floor space, we're talking about just over a sheet of A4 per bird space. Have we got any more detail about what the actual, or will we get more detail about what the actual sheds are? And can we ask that?
The planning application will include full details of the sheds, yes.
Right, thank you.
I think this is a very standard shed that's been put up all over the place, that the flu, it's away down in England, and their sheds are still in the workshop or someplace. That it's a long way off, and I don't think we have any concerns about that yet, Councillor Moore, that it's a long way off.
That's what they said about COVID-19 when it was in China.
Well, we'll take matters as it arises when it does come.
Yep.
Convener Councillor Duff wishes to speak.
Councillor Duff.
Yeah, thanks, Convener. I mean, I had a sort of related to concern to Councillor Moore. I mean, from what I can see, this seems to be a much larger development than was originally proposed. Now, it's something I admit I know nothing about, and I'm not sure if Mr. Hunter's expertise covers this area. But I mean, clearly, if you have 10 times the number of chickens, then you have a significantly greater risk if there is something like avian flu. And would consideration of those risks come into the sort of thing that we would look at? I mean, it's way out of my level of expertise, but I just wonder if consideration's been given to that issue.
My expertise in relation to chickens doesn't go much beyond nuggets, Councillor Duff. Animal health and general health are issues that would be considered or could be considered through the environmental impact assessment process. That said, we do have the agriculture and is it Agriculture and Rural Delivery Directorate at Government, which houses the chief vet. And I think that's essentially the issues in relation to animal health, and issues such as avian flu would be matters that would be dealt with at that level.
Okay. No other questions?
We've got Councillors Brays and Miles, Convener.
Councillor Brays and then by Councillor Miles.
Yes, thanks, Convener. I'm afraid my camera has stopped working. I can't access my papers and all the icons are flashing at me. I don't know what that means, but anyway, could you advise me whether this is for broilers or for laying birds?
I believe it's for laying birds.
Yes, I would agree with that, Alan. It is for laying birds.
Good, thanks.
Both applications are for laying birds.
Yeah.
Councillor Miles, did we have?
Yeah, yes, Convener. If you could enlighten a little on the increase in numbers. When you get hens to fill these sheds, they're all coming from batches of eggs that are all reared in the one capacity. So that it tends to be, because there's more birds, it doesn't mean they're coming from a lot of different areas. They all tend to come from the same rearing stations. So I would think the chances of avian flu are no greater having 10,000 birds to having 1,000 birds, because the 10,000 birds all come from the same location invariably. Thank you.
Okay. Has anybody else any queries?
No further questions, convener.
Okay, that's the end of our meeting. I would just like to take this opportunity for those that I won't see before Christmas to wish everybody a Merry Christmas in the planning department and all those that's helped me out throughout the year, and a Happy New Year if I don't see you before the New Year. So just Merry Christmas everybody and stay safe. So thank you.
Merry Christmas, convener.
Thanks,
Merry
convener.
Christmas to you all too. Ho, ho, ho.
And the bottle of rum.